Welcome.
Hi, lovely people. So good to see you all. So great to be with you all. Thank you so much. Numana, do I need to do anything to share my screen? If I wanted to share a little,
You
there you go.
are a co-host. We're so good to go.
Awesome. Thank you. Before I share my screen, I likewise just so honored and blessed to be here with all of you. Big heart bridge to all the sisters, the women, the birth keepers, just all of us out there. It's so nourishing, especially when there's like an epidemic of loneliness in the world, just to feel us all here energetically. And here for me is in Florida, on the land of the Timucuan, up near St. Augustine. So I think a few of you are in this region. And I want to honor and acknowledge my biggest teachers on this path. That would be, all right, Flagler. All right. We'll have to connect. Flagler County is in the house. My biggest teachers, my mother, my aunt, and my two daughters. The mother line has been a huge, just from early consciousness, path for me. And around somewhere between 3 and 5, the Great Spirit showed me a betrayal mechanism in my maternal lineage. And even without the language to really understand that, it was a deep cognizant knowing. And I also knew in that moment that I was a disruptor to that betrayal kind of scar tissue that was trying to keep itself in our lineage. So if any of you are, acknowledge yourself as disruptors, you can put like a D in the chat. I think probably if you're here, you are one of them. You are a lineage disruptor. All right, Molly, keep it coming. Exactly. And so, pretty much, that's what this work is about, conscious conception. And with that, I'm just going to share my screen. Keep those D's coming. Let me see if I can. Yeah, there we go. And I also want to acknowledge my grandmother, midwife, teacher, Ibu Robin Lynn, whom I've had the blessing of studying with in this life and being part of the Bumi Sahat community in Bali, Indonesia. So, what is conscious conception? This is my definition, and it's very holistic and evolving. However, conscious conception includes preconception preparation as a holistic path of preparing your body, mind, and spirit, lifestyle, home, and relations for the miracles of pregnancy and childbirth, along with the responsibilities of sacred parenting and householding. I use that word parenting for like the mainstream, but as our sister Sarah and Nova shared in the beginning, this is ultimately about sacred guardianship. You know, in the old ways, in the old dynamics and generations of parenting and child rearing, you know, the parent, the adult was the hierarchy, right? And we did what we were told, and we were quiet and whatever. We didn't talk back. We didn't give our opinions. At least that's how it was for me. Not so easy for my mom because I was a disruptor there. But in the reality, we're all ancient wise souls. You know, there's no hierarchy. We're just coming in at different timelines here, walking each other home. So, conscious conception invites you into sacred sexuality, the spiritual components of conception and co-creation, very beautifully touched on in the beginning, you know, tapping into the love that you are, the love essence that and field that you are, and then being open to receive and receive more abundantly from that field. So we definitely, that is a huge component of conscious conception is tuning into your everlasting, ever loving abundance as it exists right now, regardless of circumstances. That includes whether or not you have a partner or a village in your life. So conscious conception also can contribute to the communication with the energy wishing to be born through you. And so we're all consciously conceiving something, right? Because we're all creators. So whether you're establishing a new business or just walking your identity as a doula or creating a book or, you know, wanting to birth a family, whatever it is, we are in a process of conscious conception. And Elizabeth Gilbert, I think she has a whole book on this, but her premise, which I agree on with, is that ideas are sentient beings. And so when idea comes to you, especially quite profoundly, especially when you're in those flow states, there's a choice that you get to make, to say yes to be that vessel or not. So in conscious conception, as you open yourself up, you're invited to collaborate with the energy wishing to be born through you. And when it comes to calling in a human, an ancient wise soul in human flesh and form, the conscious creation, whether the baby is conceived in 2 days, 3 months, 3 years, or in my case, it was 15 years between my first baby and my second baby. It's all happening. You're given the opportunity to work with, again, your body, your home, your relationships, your environment, etc. So, in my experience, a conscious conception journey can address things like fertility challenges. I prefer to call them fertility delays. In the clients that I work with, those challenges and delays can be showing up, due to, I want to use quotations like PCOS or endometriosis, et cetera, et cetera. A conscious conception journey. Can you guys hear me? Because it just started storming here. Okay, great. I'm like hesitant to close the doors, but if you need me to, let me know because it's about to hit. All right, Numan, I can't see the chat, so just interrupt if you can't hear me.
You're doing great.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so a conscious conception journey can address like the stressors related to trying to conceive. Some interesting things in the clients with whom I work. Some of them, like, we want to have a baby, and I'm like, are you having sex? And so many of them are not, or the sex that they're having isn't as stressful, like, that time. Yes, there are juicy times where the reproductive goo is optimal. However, I like to remind that we have the opportunity to create this juicy container, not just in our conception window. So, like, what can we do to increase the oxytocin, to support those neurotransmitters and feel good hormones that are essentially indicators of joy and love and connection? Because as you do that over time, that's just contributing to the love field, for these babies to come into. So let's see, some of us could benefit from a conscious conception journey because we don't know if we really do want to bring a child into the world. So conscious conception allows you to go into those inner realms of clarity. And especially at this time in humanity, and as women, we have, at least as first world women, we have a lot of choice, right? And there's an opportunity to dissect. Do I want to have a baby because of biological motivation? Do I want to have a baby out of expectation? That's what I think I'm expected to do, either by society or my family lineage or the partner I'm with, or et cetera, et cetera. Or do I want to have a baby? And then we have some really interesting factors now in terms of the conditions of the world. So a conscious conception journey and really giving space for it allows you to kind of dissect and go deeper and gain clarity. And once you have clarity, then there's flow. So we can also address generational patterns of pain and disease as disruptors. We probably have a clear idea of what those are, and we can cultivate the environment, both like the external environment you find yourself and the internal environment of your cellular being, but also like the psycho-spiritual environment to shatter those patterns of pain and disease and really amplify those patterns of blessings and gifts in our family line. So also in a conscious conception journey, it's going to help you just stay really connected to your eros, your agape, and your life force, the life force energy. So conscious conception is a yin journey, and yin is feminine, fecund, dark, magnetic, and attractive. It's like that going inward. It's creative, as Wapia was sharing, and peaceful. And we know now, or we know more now through science, that the sperm doesn't, the egg chooses the sperm, right? It receives the optimal genetic material to create that zinc spark of life. So before we move along, and actually I can't really see the chat from this view, but if you just want to like type in where you are in nurturing the yin aspects of your life in being, and again, we're all on a conscious conception journey. So if you also want to add where you are with conscious conception, like, are you calling in a baby? Are you calling in a baby but not actively trying to conceive? Are you birthing something else? I'd love to come back and reflect on that in a
Yeah,
moment.
we just heard there's a comment, the slides aren't changing. We're on the conscious
It's not changing. Oh my goodness.
but
All
yeah.
right, let me go back. Let me exit this. Can you guys see this? Can you guys see like the regular version of my Google slideshow?
Yeah, we see question, how are you nurturing the yin?
Let me go here. Let me go to the chat. Currently creating a birth community in Flagler County. Awesome. Love that. 31 weeks pregnant. The slide deck is not changing. Okay, we'll try to do something about that. Cool. So yeah, how are you nurturing yourself, your yin energy, like through dance, yoga, meditation, taking more care of yourself during your moon time. Maybe it's nourishing your belly through womb massage regularly, praying, calling in your beloved. I love that. Going slower. That's a really good one, like dropping into those different levels of frequency and awareness. Beautiful. All right, I'm going to switch the slide, but we're just going to keep it in this view right now. Can you guys see just like my good old Google slide view? Okay, great. So as we know, like life right now is the opposite of healthy yin, balanced with healthy yang. And the yang energy is that, you know, that masculine energy. It's the solar energy. And now more than ever, we have like more demands in our time. We have more like concern. Is this time really the right time to have a baby in my life, in society, in humanity's evolution? We have daily tensions. And when I think about the reproductive goo, which is, yes, the context of the sperm and the ovum, or as the yogis call it, like the earth body, right? Just that basic stuff. You know, we can get really dried out. Like our juices, our vitality can get really dried out from all this tension on our nervous system. So when you're nourishing your yin, you're also working to, you know, support and lubricate yourself on all levels. Just before we go on, or just maybe even open up some time for questions, an aspect of conscious conception, we have like this big holistic container, and then we have the science of that holistic container. And I would say that epigenetics really gives us some context for that. It's the study of how our behaviors and environment can cause changes that affect the way our genes work. So in conscious conception, especially when you take your time, although knowing that baby's going to come when baby's going to come. But often in my client work, I like to have people just take a pause, maybe 3 to 6 months before actively trying to conceive, to actually embrace like the science and the spirit work that's available to you. And with epigenetics, through our environment, we can change how we respond to stress. We can work with how trauma affects us in our bodies. We can build up our nutritional abundance. And again, like I said, really nurture that reproductive goo. All right. So there's good news, and this is where we can feel like really empowered. So unlike genetic changes, epigenetic changes are reversible. So if you know that, you know, how your body responds to stress creates like migraines, or we know that certain responses to stress actually affect our longevity, maybe taking a few years off, you know, days or breaths off life, we can actually do something about that. And when it comes to preconception, there's a window, a minimum of 3 months before, which is an opportunity for intervention. So before we close, we got epigenetics, we got conscious conception, we have you as a disruptor, and then we have this whole aspect of ecology, which is really well put in the sentiment of a peaceful birth contributes to a peaceful earth. because how we enter the world matters. And it's not just, yes, how we enter the world when we're exiting the womb and actually coming into the light of this material existence, but it's really how we love ourselves and how we are loved before we come into the world as well. And it's just really exciting to be here with you all as we journey together on with this ecological opportunity. So I'm going to stop this share here. And I don't know what the time is, but I'm just feeling a time thing.
Our timer went off right when you said that.
Okay,
Oh,
good.
Jocelyn, thank you
Good.
so much. I just put your, Instagram in the chat box where you can
Thanks,
connect
darling.
with her. Yeah, and thank you for putting in your free gift.
Thank
Wow, this was
you.
just so informative. I'm so Yeah, how everyone is feeling. What's your main takeaway? What are you digesting? Please share in the chat.
Yeah, and those were slides from a summit I did a few years ago from Birthing Bliss. I was like, oh, I have some slides I could share. So I did put that link in there as well. And would love to hear about your main takeaways, friends.
Mm, mm, beautiful. Yeah, the emphasis on being in healthy yin for conception. Gorgeous.
Thank you, community.
Mm.
Thank you, Nova.
Gorgeous. That was so beautiful, so informative. Can I share those slides on our resource page? Would that be all right?
Definitely the ones that are shared here. Absolutely.